On today's show, we have a mailbag where we take the best questions from our subscribers over on our community post. If you want to be on the next mailbag, go ahead, subscribe, and ask your questions down below in the comment section. But I wanted to know before we got started with today's show, what year did you become a Mavs fan? My first memory as a Mavs fan was when the American Airlines Center opened in the fall of 2001, and I can't believe that it's been almost 25 years since that building has been open. 23 to be exact. A lot of great memories in the AAC, so I'll say 2001, but let me know down in the comments what year you became a Mavericks fan. And with that, let's get started with today's show. Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I am Jeffrey Cooperstein. Like I said, we have a mailbag on today's show, so without further ado, let's get right into it, starting with Frank, who says, it's early, but with Derrick Jones Jr. and Exum outplaying their contract value, does this make Josh Green expendable this offseason, and do you think they'll shop Josh for a more talented starting player if possible? I'll start with Derrick Jones Jr., who is going to be a free agent at the end of this season, and I kind of think Jones is going to get a little bit above the minimum, so I'm not sure what his status is. Dante Exum under contract for next season, so it kind of puts Green's status a little bit up in the air. This year has been up and down for him, averaging just 8.5 points per game, 50% from the field and 40 from three, kind of continuing what he did last year. Obviously, started out the season really slow and then picked it up a little bit. He had a stretch for about 20 games that I think where he was playing the best basketball of his young career to this point. And I think the Mavericks kind of saw what they signed him to with that 3-year, $41 million extension. As far as trading Green goes for a starter here in the offseason, I don't really see it because I'm not sure what his value is. Is his value enough to where he's a centerpiece for you getting back a starting caliber player in this league? Or is he kind of a guy that you put in as a sweetener to try to finish up another deal? I don't see Josh Green as being a centerpiece, and I'll say this. I know the Mavericks have been hesitant to trade him. In the past, they considered him in a swap for Clint Capella with the Atlanta Hawks over the last year or so, and they denied that. So I think the Mavericks are going to be hesitant to trade Green here, and I think that continues this offseason. I don't think he'll be on the trade block, and I think he'll be a Maverick here, at least in 24-25. And you have to remember, it is the first year of his extension as well. So the Mavs have him locked up for 3 more years. While that's a pretty movable deal at just, around 12, 13 million a year, I don't think the Mavs are going to be actively looking to move Josh Green this offseason. But I want you guys to do this. You guys play NBA 2K? I know I do sometimes. I whoop producer Texas ass in 2K all the time. Grade Josh Green as a player, 1 to 99 down in the comment section. I'll go like 76. Is that a little too harsh? I think 76 is right around what I want for Josh Green there. So that works out for me. I'll go 76. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. And shout out to today's sponsor, which is PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. We love PrizePicks here at Chat Sports, and football season may be over, but the action on the floor is just heating up, whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court. If you're watching this video today, the Final Four just around the corner. There's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, where you can turn your knowledge into serious cash. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn 10 into $1,000 with NBA, NHL, college basketball entries today on PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Want to play alongside some of your favorite players like Meek Mill and Sugar Sean O'Malley? You can now find that under the Community Plays tab of the app to view entries with some of the biggest names from the PrizePicks community each week. PrizePicks even offers injury insurance so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For basketball games, you have a player who exits the game in the first half and doesn't return in the second. That player projection won't count against you, and the rest of your entry stays live. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for that first deposit match up to $100. And because we love and we care about you, we'll put that link in the comments and the description of today's show. It's PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. This one coming in from My Cabbages. How far do the Mavs have to go in the postseason for this to be considered a successful year. I think they have to win a round at minimum for this to be considered a successful season. With Luka and Kyrie, you've had them for a full year now. You've improved the roster under them, especially at the trade deadline with the additions of PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. You have other guys growing into their roles that maybe you didn't expect, like Dante Exum and Derrick Jones Jr., who we talked about a little bit earlier in the show. I think a first round win is the minimum expectation right now. If you lose in the first round, I would say you fell short of expectations. And maybe that's a little harsh, but I think this Mavericks team is more than capable of winning a first round series and getting to at least that second round. And then at that point, you're kind of playing with house money. And I think the Mavs would like to be at least in that second round there of the postseason. And I think they can go all the way, man. I really think this team can win the NBA title given what they have there with Luka Doncic, who I believe is the MVP of the league, and Kyrie Irving, who we've seen what he's done in the postseason before. But let me know, do you guys think the Mavs can win the NBA title? If so, hit that thumbs up icon to make sure you're supporting your Mavs out there in the playoff hunt. And this is the one coming in from the Kang79. No question, I just want to mention that the Mavs are winning it all this year. Hey, be like Kang. Have faith in the Mavericks. Type your MFFLs down in the comments and be sure to hit that subscribe button because myself, Harrison Graham, we have you covered all throughout the Mavericks playoff run on the latest news, latest rumors, anything that has to do with the Dallas Mavericks, we will have you covered. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. And this one coming in from Jay. What do you think Tim Hardaway Jr. is worth after this little cold stretch? It's interesting to think about Tim here. When we take a look at his stats, this is over the last 25 games or so, coming in to the game against the Golden State Warriors, which was on Wednesday. He's averaging less than 10 points, 35.5% from three, which is actually more than I thought, and just 35.3% from the field because all of his shots are essentially three-pointers. The thing with Tim is I think these stats are a little misleading for a couple of reasons. Number one, he has some really good games and some really bad games. So they kind of even out in the end. But his bad games, for me, outweigh his good games. And I don't think these stats really tell the true story of the Tim Hardaway Jr. slump, which has been happening for the better part of 2 months now. I'm not sure you can even call it a slump at this point. I think it just is what it is. And the fact that Hardaway is still trying to get out of this slump kind of tells me that it's really not going to happen. And I think that's been reflected in Jason Kidd dwindling his minutes down to where he was over 30 when he was playing some of the best basketball of his career to this current stretch where he's just now at around 20 minutes a night. I don't know, man. I don't know what the future holds for Tim Hardaway Jr. If I had to guess right now, I would say he's off this team next year. I think the writing is kind of on the wall that he's not going to be a part of this team's long-term plans. As far as his value goes, is it a second-round pick? Is he just a salary filler? I kind of think that's where it is right now. I don't know if he's a negative asset, but I'm not sure he's a positive one either. I do believe if the Mavs make a deal this offseason, Hardaway will be the one that's involved in it simply because he's the guy that matches the salary there at around $17 million. It's a descending contract with 1 year left as well, and NBA teams like to take those on there so they can clear up cap space in the future. But what do you guys think? Will the Mavs trade Tim Hardaway Jr. this offseason? Type T for trade, type K for keep down in the comments. I think it's a pretty easy answer, man. I'm going to go ahead and type my T, but let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. Myself and Harrison Graham will have you guys up to date with all the latest Mavs news and rumors, so be sure to hit that thumbs up icon and subscribe, and we'll see you soon on the next episode.